Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Tonight on Our News, dozens of nurses demanding overtime pay for their work during the pandemic. A heated exchange after a man is shot dead on DeVoe Street. And the Bahamian economy contracted 15% in 2020. We'll tell you what's next. Joining us, I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, scores of frustrated nurses gathering outside the Ministry of Health this morning, demanding to see Minister of Health Renward Wells regarding the more than $100,000 they say they are owed in overtime pay. Jillian Gray has the story.
I'm crying, I'm begging. I have a granddaughter in college and another one going to college. I need my money like today.
38-year nursing veteran Glenore Presenti Bain's frustration is shared by hundreds of nurses who say collectively they're owed over $100,000 in overtime pay and a COVID-19 stipend. Martina Pennerman Wilson worked in the COVID Command Center during the pandemic and contracted COVID-19, which was also passed to her husband. After such a harrowing ordeal, she said she's heartbroken that no appreciation was shown to the nurses.
We are, treated with no honor, no respect after sacrificing our lives, sacrificing our families. How do you think we feel? Do you ask where people heart? Where's your heart? You do not have a heart for the nurses.
Dozens of nurses gathered outside the Ministry of Health demanding to see the Health Minister Renward Wells. They say after working long hours in adverse conditions, they are not being unreasonable.
Day and night, 7 in the morning till sometimes 11 o'clock in the evening, we are waiting with patients under the tent to be picked up by ambulance. We are tired and we need our money.
We worked in the heat. Most of the patients was on the outside. We climbed stairs. We couldn't take elevators. We worked in the rain. And during the time when the storm was traveling, we still had to go and see the patients. We had no days off.
During the height of the pandemic, stations were often only manned by one nurse as dozens were out sick, according to nurses who say it's embarrassing to have to beg for their money, especially when money is being spent on other things.
So if I considering the patients, folks, don't put them sidewalks in front of my money and put the prettying up the Parliament place.
Nurses are not respected in the Bahamas. We have learned this a long time ago. It's sad, and I am a young nurse, but this is a fact.
In September, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis told nurses to wait until December. During the holidays, the health minister again confirmed that the $5,000 honorarium would be paid. But Nurses Union President Amantha Williams said nothing has happened.
You've written the budget. You said that there was $77.5 million allocated for COVID. Where have it gone to? We know there's an economical, but who comes first? Who's the priority? Is the healthcare workers right now, right? Not no new car, not no new road.
Now, despite the minister's assurance that these nurses will be paid, the Nurses Union president said they'll be out here rain or shine until what shows up in their bank account matches what he says. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Well, residents of DeVoe Street were awakened by the sound of gunshots this morning after a man was shot and killed. Our Berthany McDermott was there as tensions ran high.
A tense scene on DeVoe Street as the loved ones of the man shot and killed this morning got into a heated exchange, prompting police law officers to intervene. According to Police Press Liaison Officer ASP Audley Peters, police received reports of a shooting incident shortly before 9 a.m.
The first responders, upon their arrival on scene, met the body of a male with apparent gunshot wounds next to a vehicle. Emergency medical services were summoned, and after their examination of the body, it was pronounced dead.
Our News understands the victim is 37-year-old Anwar Tucker. Peters said police are on the lookout for a small vehicle that was spotted on the scene.
Well, we're in our initial stages. Officers are canvassing the area. The information seemed promising, and in due course, as we follow the protocols and the assistance of members of the public, which encourage us to do our work, we believe that we'll bring this matter to a closure, swift as possible.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
A 27-year-old man was killed by police after they say he sped through a checkpoint set up near a popular racing venue. The man's family is now disputing claims made in the aftermath of the incident. Jared Higgs has the details.
A big shootout live by the trucks. Dead.
Cell phone footage captured the aftermath of a police shooting that killed a man on Sunday at the tracks.
Yeah.
Family members tell Our News the man is 27-year-old Rico Mackey. According to ASP Audley Peters, officers got word of a disturbance on Sunday afternoon at around 5 p.m. and went to the tracks where they observed a large gathering.
The officers established a checkpoint at the entrance of the venue.
With vehicles and people being checked as they exited, police say a small black vehicle tried to evade officers by speeding through the checkpoint, despite officers beckoning for the vehicles to stop.
So the officers pulled their service weapons and discharged it at the occupant of the vehicle. The vehicle itself was driven some 300 yards further west along Corridor 7, where it crashed along a northern wall.
Mackey was taken to hospital where he died. Police say a weapon was found in the vehicle. Mackey's family vehemently object to reports that he had a weapon. The incident was captured by body cameras, according to Peters.
The mobile officers who are first responders would be the persons who would be wearing the body cam.
According to Mackey's family, he worked as an electrician. They described him as a very happy person who was like a comedian since he was small. Peters couldn't say the exact nature of the disturbance that officers were responding to prior to the 27-year-old's killing.
The facts are that a disturbance, whenever there's a disturbance, the officers respond, whether it's domestic or not. It's not really no concern to us. We simply responded, and the officers took the necessary action that they deemed appropriate at the time.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
And a man was charged in the magistrate's court today in connection with a recent murder off Soldier Road. Shaquem Monroe in the gray Nautica jacket was today arraigned before Magistrate Darren Roll Davis for the January 26th murder of Lamar Moss. According to police, two men were sitting in a car in front of a home on Mall Drive when the occupant of a small car approached them, discharging a firearm in their direction, injuring one of the men. The victim was taken to hospital in a private vehicle where he later died. In court today, Monroe was not required to enter a plea to the charge and bail was denied. He has been remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until April 4th for service of a voluntary bill of indictment. He was represented by attorney K. Melvin Pratt. In other news, the Bahamian economy contracted by nearly 20% in 2020, according to Central Bank Governor John Roll, who outlined the country's 2020 economic performance during a press briefing this morning. Jasmine Brown reports.
The period that would mark the start of the recovery, it has been pushed back. And I would estimate that the Bahamas needs to be patient through at least the first quarter of 2021.
That central bank governor John Roll confirming that the country's economic situation is not set to improve anytime soon. Roll said the continued virtual standstill of international travel in 2020 underscores the severe negative impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the Bahamian economy. He said with tourism being the #1 industry, it will weigh heavily on the economy in 2021, as the global vaccination drive is not expected to meaningfully boost travel confidence until the second half of the year.
It is estimated that the Bahamian economy contracted by at least 16% in 2020. For tourism, cruise visitor activity was on pause since mid-March, and stopover visitors are projected to have achieved numbers no higher than 1/4 of the levels achieved in 2019.
And that's not the only bad news for the tourism industry. Roll also revealed that revenue losses have been more severe for the hotel sector than for vacation rental properties because Bahamian residents have made greater use of short-term rentals. He said sales of vacation rentals achieved nearly 50% of the 2019 levels compared to a much weaker result for hotels. Roll says with vaccine programs rolling out across the world and soon in the Bahamas, there could be light at the end of the tunnel.
Countries that are wrestling with outbreaks will need, several weeks in each case to get the outbreak under control, and then they also need time to bring the numbers down. Fortunately, that is happening as vaccination has begun. So there's more certainty in terms of maintaining the numbers low as they begin to decrease. But generally speaking, we were not in a material period yet of rebound.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
A rainy morning in the capital today. Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center to tell us what's ahead.
Thanks, Christina. I'm meteorologist Greg Thompson with your first look at weather, brought to you tonight by Ports Group Limited. Outside our studios, those winds are really picking up. Front boundary pushed through the capital early this morning. 73 degrees is our current temperature, still a bit on the warm side. The winds are out of the northwest at 16 knots, and they are gusting higher. Feels like temperature in the low 70s. Satellite view, front boundary passing actually through the northwest Bahamas early this morning. Prefrontal activity ahead of that, generating a couple of thunderstorms early this morning as well here in the capital, but all that is pushing towards the south. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, the PLP leader addresses questions on Peter Nygard. Plus, a Grand Bahama man faces a child pornography charge. Stay with us.
Hear that? If you listen closely, you can hear the heartbeat of a nation. That unique sound of a great country, pounding with colorful history, a rich culture, and unwavering ambition. When you look around, you recognize its pulse. The people who love to celebrate, who identify with triumph, a people who know how to be our brother's keeper. Commonwealth Bank, built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians. Bahamians helping Bahamians.
More creative ways to save money not working? We've got a better idea. Get a Crazy Tuesday bucket with 9 pieces of deliciously cooked to perfection KFC chicken. Now only $12, including VAT. Only on Tuesdays and only at KFC. Come to KFC Nassau for home-cooked food at a great price. KFC Nassau. Crazy good.
COVID-19 has brought unprecedented financial strain to us all. Sunshine Finance wants to help. We are offering debt consolidations for the same or lower monthly payment, and for a limited time, Sunshine Finance is offering no payment until 2022. That's right! On new loans and consolidations, you can keep your monthly payment to meet your other financial needs. We want to ease your burden. Contact Sunshine Finance today for no payments until 2022.
Opposition leader Philip Davis says the Progressive Liberal Party's relationship with fashion designer Peter Nygard is in the past. Jared Higgs tells us the opposition leader isn't worried about the impact that relationship will have on the outcome of the next general election.
Connection to Peter Nygard will affect you guys in the upcoming general election?
No. That's the past.
Davis sought to address his party's relationship with the Canadian billionaire after a CBC documentary discussed Nygard's alleged affairs in the Bahamas at length. Davis insisted that both the FNM and PLP have received donations from Nygard.
Those contributions do not in any way excuse his behavior, but nor are the many recipients of his contributions responsible for his behavior.
Nygard was charged by U.S. federal authorities with sex trafficking and racketeering offenses in December. He is currently jailed in Canada and trying to secure bail before extradition proceedings. Davis called the allegations against Nygard appalling. His party has been criticized for its relationship with the fashion mogul. A video release after the 2012 election showed several PLP ministers on Nygard Key. But Davis says that relationship is over. He added that he's been ensuring that funding is from appropriate and proper sources.
Continue to engage our own due diligence from persons who would wish to donate to the party and ensure that there's no quid pro quo in that exercise.
Will you make such information available to the public? Those donations, those campaign financing?
Well, in the event it is necessary, but I will do whatever the other party will do.
Davis says he isn't worried about the impact his party's alleged relationship with Nygaard will have on the next election.
I don't know the circumstances, as it was not me to have engaged with him. But 2020, hindsight vision, going forward, sometimes you only could act on what you know and what was known at the time.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Well, the grievous allegations of criminality made by PLP leader Philip Davis and former Deputy House Speaker Dion Smith about Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis and former Minister of Finance Peter Turnquest leave both Davis and Smith exposed to possible criminal liability, according to the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Legal Affairs. Davis and Smith accusing the government of breaching procurement reporting requirements laid out under the emergency regulations. Davis dismissing the threat of criminal liability.
I have no concern about that. As I indicated, it's a laughable assertion by the Attorney General. I mean, when does one's opinion and about the interpretation of a set of laws and facts amount to libel?
The statement continued, those false allegations expose both Mr. Dion Smith and Mr. Davis to possible liability in civil law for libel and possibly to criminal prosecution were a complaint of criminal libel to be laid by the Prime Minister against the said persons, and in the event of convictions to the penalties set forth in the Penal Code for persons who commit criminal libel.
I don't know where he would have gotten that from. So I have no concern about that. Bring it on.
In other news, a Grand Bahama man granted $7,000 bail after being charged today with one count of child pornography. 23-year-old Adrian Trevor Newman appearing before Magistrate LaQuay Lang, pleading not guilty to the charge. Newman is to have no contact with the virtual complainant and was ordered to sign in at Central Police Station on Grand Bahama every Monday. The matter was adjourned to March 16th. Still to come on Our News, how a local charity is making a difference, plus the latest in sports. Stay with us.
So to be the best, everything have to be done the right way, not the second, third time, it's the first time. A lot of people have been doing jogging lately. It's really important to have the sunny water and the Powerade to make sure everybody got their beverages while they exercise to stay healthy. I was really happy how my teammates look at me and see the great work I was putting up with the company, but everybody else here, doing a really good work. My name is Hansi Dexter, and I'm a driver salesman.
During a hurricane, intense winds and rains are not the main cause of window and door damage. The most serious threat to your family is flying debris. The official hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th, but hurricanes have been known to form in other months. We Buy You Sell is this region's #1 supplier of high-impact windows and doors. Located at number 163 Robinson Road. Call us at 324-6427 or 677-2856. Come and see us today.
Welcome back. What started off as a mission to save souls turned into a mission to feed and clothe those in need. Giorgio Bain takes a look at the work of Great Commission Ministries in tonight's edition of Making a Difference.
Bishop Walter Hanchel and his wife, Elder Minnalee Hanchel, have been making a difference in the Bahamas for over 30 years through the establishment of Great Commission Ministries International, a global mission that includes homeless shelters, halfway houses, and by far the most impactful, their feeding network.
If I need, they just come and help me, because right now I'm fighting breast cancer, so I don't have much help from nowhere. So like right now, my social service keep on ain't going on, so this the place I gotta come for something to eat.
Monday through Friday, hundreds line the streets waiting to be served a hot meal, a job that can sometimes be a thankless one, according to Hanchel.
Whether we get thanks or not, doesn't make a difference. We do it as unto the Lord. Some people are thankful, some people are not. That's life.
It is sometimes the only meal some persons can depend on daily, according to Gerald Dorset.
Right now, you got a lot of people who's in need. A lot of people come here every day. I talk about every day. Sometimes they even kick up a fight even just to get the food, because you can't tell how long they eat, like how the weekend just gone. A lot of them is, food from Friday.
Inside the kitchen, workers are busy preparing up to 400 meals a day. It's been a godsend, according to Desmond Strawn, who recently moved back home.
Wasn't for this place, some days I wouldn't eat, to be honest with you. So I really appreciate the pastor. I really appreciate people's patience. I've been here. I came from the States a year ago, so it's kind of been like an up and down struggle to find work, get on my feet. I really appreciate this place being not too far from my house. I know I could come in at 1 o'clock, 1:30 and get a meal for the day.
The rise in number of persons needing help due to the pandemic has left the shelves of the Great Commission's pantry nearly empty. And despite help from organizations such as Hands for Hunger and local donors, it's hard to keep up with the demand, according to Hanchel.
We count it a privilege and an honor to serve the people of the Bahamas. We thank God for all of our donors, those who help us. A lot of people help us out, because we can't do this by ourselves. We depend on donors. We depend on persons bringing in funds, food.
It's a dream of Hanchel's to complete Faith House, a center for women, mothers, and children to address the long-standing issue of homelessness. Reporting for our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Thanks, Giorgio. Tonight in sports, Shanae Miller-Wibo sets a new national record. Marcellus Hall has the highlights.
All right, thanks again, and as usual, welcome to our Sports on a Monday, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. As you can tell, she is indeed back. Shanae Miller-Wibo taking to the track once again this past weekend. Same old Shanae, because the results, nothing short of amazing. Track star Shanae Miller-Wibo in action over the weekend. Miller-Wibo running in the 200 meters in the American Track League indoor track meet in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Showing no signs of rust, Shanae running an indoor personal best time of 22.40 seconds, cruising to the win in the process. The time, by the way, also a new national record. Also from track, the 6th Fletcher Lewis Track and Field Invitational taking place on Saturday in Grand Bahama. That meet jump-starting the track season on the island. Buddy Hield and the Sacramento Kings continue to struggle. Kings losing a heartbreaker to Miami over the weekend, 105-104. Buddy with 18 points in the contest to go along with 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Sacramento back in action tonight when they take on the New Orleans Pelicans. On the opposite end of the spectrum, DeAndre Ayton and the Suns improving their stature in the West as they improve to 10-8 with a 111-105 comeback win over the Dallas Mavericks. Ayton 18 points, 17 rebounds, and 4 assists in the win. Phoenix also back in action this evening. They take on the Dallas Mavericks. And that's a check on sports for you this Monday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you.
Coming up, are Bahamians still pinching their pennies? Stay tuned to find out.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with this channel.
The Ministry of Education seeks to ensure that every student enrolled in the public school system has a digital device to facilitate their learning. To date, 12,350 electronic devices have been allocated to students in kindergarten to grade 3. By the end of November 2020, 26,000 will be allocated for distribution to students in grades 4 through 6. If your child needs a device, please contact the school to arrange collection. A government-issued photo ID is required.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with this channel.
Cancer is smart. It pushes us. We push back, challenging conventional thinking, finding smarter solutions. That's what makes Cancer Treatment Centers of America one of the leaders in precision cancer treatment, using tools like advanced genomic testing and immunotherapy to bring more options to our patients. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. We're not just fighting cancer anymore. We're outsmarting it. Visit cancercenter.com/outsmart to learn more.
35 years ago, my family chose Confidence Insurance. And 35 years later, we are still with Confidence Insurance because over the years, they have given us excellent service and advice. We've never been disappointed, and we have no regrets.
Confidence has now been a part of the Center for Specialized Dentistry family for over 30 years.
I've been with Confidence Insurance for the past 25 years. Confidence has been a major staple in our life, in personal as well as business.
We've been insured with Confidence almost 20 years. Confidence covers everything that we need. We've just not seen the need to go anywhere else.
I would recommend Confidence Insurance to anyone. They've been tried and tested, and they are the last of the great institutions of this country.
If you're looking for a company that's going to meet your needs, we have Confidence Insurance.
Welcome back to our news. Looks like we'll have a few windy days ahead. Greg is back in the weather studio with a look ahead.
Thanks again, Christina. In our second look at weather, we take a look at our satellite view around the area. Strong cold front pushed through the capital this afternoon. Prefrontal activity ahead of that moving into central Bahamas with some showers and thunderstorms. We had some rumbles of thunder earlier this morning across the capital. But behind that, very strong high-pressure system will continue to push into the area, bringing us some nice cool weather as well as some windy conditions, making boating and beaching very hazardous out there. Speaking of boating, if you plan on doing any of that tomorrow, well, not advised. Small craft remain in port for the northwest and central Bahamas. West to northwest winds 20 to 30 knots, and your seas are going to be very rough. While in the southeast Bahamas, we have an advisory posted for you guys. West and northwest winds 15 to 20 knots. Those winds will be gusting higher. High tide will be at 10:44 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Saturday. That's a look at our weather. Have a safe and cool night, everybody. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. Months after launching its Penny Gone campaign, the Central Bank of the Bahamas has collected fewer coins than it had anticipated. Central Bank Governor John Roll says only a fraction of the copper coins have been turned in at redemption sites.
So it's been a steady stream, but interestingly, if you look at the value of the coins that have been redeemed so far, it still does not add up to $1 million worth of coins. And we know that there are several $1 million worth of pennies that have been issued over the years and are in circulation. Some of those will never return because given tourists and other international travel, we know that some of our coins over the years have disappeared.
Roll says he is hopeful those numbers will soon pick up. Well, thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.